Good morning, traders, and welcome to the live trading webinar here at Bookmap. This is Bruce, and we'll do the live analysis today. So we do this Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Live trading with JTrader, Stocks Trader on Wednesday, and live trading with Scott Pulcini was yesterday, Thursday at 10 a.m. And then every day we have in the afternoon Tom B streaming in YouTube as well. So you'll all find it on the YouTube channel there, and you can join immediately. So when the stream starts. All right, just a little bit of background on our education, and then we're going to dive right into the S&P E-mini, take a look at the market in general, and give some insight to where we think price is going to move next. So to understand that statement, or what our goal here is with these webinars, is to educate you on order flow with the best education that we can. We have an educational course. It's free. It's online. It's on YouTube. Watch that. Come to these live analysis market webinars here, our streaming events, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, because this is where we apply what we've learned from the course with multiple trading strategies, not just one, many. And this allows you to confirm the education that you see from the course, but in the live market. And then we have different trading styles here. Okay, we have JTrader, we have Scott, we have Tom B. They go through their trading styles. So we really try to cover everything here for you and provide a very kind of holistic, high quality education for you. All right, let's get into the risk disclosures and jump right in here. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in. Let's take a look here. Pretty choppy here already in the morning, as you can see from about 6 a.m. We have a bit of a downtrend here, but we'll take a look at the bigger picture here. Lots of liquidity in here, up at 39.50, 39.60, 39.20 down here. We've already traded into and through this 39.30 area here. We don't have a lot of news out there today either, so we're just going to be looking at it'll be interesting session here. 39.10 and also the figure, we're going to see some liquidity down here. Not so much right now, but they probably mount a lot more if we can get down into that area. All right, let's see a few notes in here. So I just want to mention a couple of things. One is on our Discord chat room. Let's take a look here. Let me find it. Hold on. Yeah. Here in the Discord chat room, under this one here, workstations. Okay, we kind of renamed it. It was called Workstation Picks, and it had everyone's workstations in here, and it was cool. I mean, some beautiful different configurations in here. Well, Tom B here is looking for a laptop, and I thought I'd give a shout out here and put your comments in here. If you have any kind of insights on a high quality gaming laptop, 17-inch, that Tom is looking for here. All right. Another thing to mention here, I guess, since I'm already mentioning that, we had a trivia night last night, and yeah, you can find it down here under special events, and under the playlist here, you can click on that, and it'll take you to all this different special events in here. There are many. It's not just trivia. It's like all sorts of things in here. All right. Yeah, so you can see the upcoming news streams in here, or live streams in here. Tom B will be next, and that's at 11:30 a.m. Once this ends, you can just go right over into that room. All right. Okay, so here we are. We're starting to break down a little bit, and we're into 39.20, and we're seeing a lot of sellers in here. Now, this kind of move here, the selling is here, so we're looking for them to continue down to 39.10. Okay, sellers are moving it here. Now, we have to be kind of careful here on these moves. It looks pretty good, though. This is what we look for. Number one, we look for heavy sell volume here. All right, well, we got it. And then, we want to see it continuous, though. And that we don't quite have. Here it looks good. See how it kind of wanes down here a little bit and see the buying coming in? All right, so looks good. We're just noticing that, though. We're still looking for the continuation here to the downside. All right, so they have to pick it up again in here, the sellers, and then they can hit 39.10. Right. The other thing we look for in here, typically in the order flow, is not just heavy selling, but also price movement. All right. Now it's been volatile lately. So, and we're breaking the low here, the cash low. This has already been more than a 5-point move. So this is more likely a continuation move here. Okay. So not only 39.10, we're looking for the figure down here. Okay, this is a big concept to understand in order flow. Understanding that the higher time frame traders are moving it away from this previous value area in here, or this previous kind of choppy area in here, and this is what it takes. This is very indicative of the kind of footprints in the sand here, that they're moving it away from these areas. So you could see even with as we started to note this starting to come down in here, and we're looking for the continuation into 10. I mean, you could have gotten involved in. One thing to note about these kinds of moves in here, and you'll have to kind of put this together in your own strategy and what you're looking for. What I've noticed when I see these kinds of things is I just jump in, because it is unlikely you're going to get a pullback in here when they're moving the market like this. Okay, and this is a good example of that. The one thing that I didn't like was what I mentioned in here was some of the selling in here it wasn't quite as strong, but it's not that bad either. But I wanted to see more. I wanted to see big dots like this down at these lower levels here. All right. Okay, so anyway, the waiting for a pullback on this, you'd still be waiting. So yeah, that's my plan. That's what I've studied. That's what I look at. I look for the continuation. All right. There's also a bit of psychology involved in that too, and it is my limitation is a bit of FOMO. I don't like to see this do that, and it makes me feel horrible. So I jump in. I scale out a little bit along the way. In some places, like 10, or take all my profit at 10. And I might even be done for the day after a move like that. Right? It depends on the sizing, etc. It's up to you. Anyway, these are considerations here. These are not trade recommendations. It's just to read the order flow here and to consider how to interact with it, how you might want to interact with it, and you need to go kind of see if this fits your trading style. Your way of looking at the markets. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you'd be looking for a pullback here, and that's fine. And you didn't get involved in this. This one didn't pull back. So it's really up to you. Also, time of day in here. This is very typical. This is the continuation from the kind of cash session here. So it's continued to the downtrend, and it broke into newer levels here. All right, so let me I've been ranting here. Let me get into some of the comments, and you missed it. Okay, Bert. Yeah, I mean, like, this is if it's something that really bothers you, then this is something to consider, what we just talked about. Okay, finding way to kind of slip into these things. Scott's webinar from yesterday, it's been uploaded. So I don't know what happened, but YouTube locked it. Okay, it's private and they locked it. We're finding out what happened there. You know, Scott didn't swear or anything like that, so I'm not sure why it's not available at this time, but we're looking into it. Okay, we'll have some sort of answer for you. All right, so let's see here. Any questions in our YouTube? Good morning, Reiner. That's it. Okay. All right. So we're all caught up there, all right. Let's continue on with our analysis here. And you guys can see, if you're new in here, this is the forward-looking analysis that we do. Right? Is applying that education, and so it kind of verifies the education. In essence, you know, it's for real. I mean, like, we go through exactly these processes, and now we're talking about it in the live market. We can also talk about how you might get involved. Right? And there's many different ways to do that. One of them was the way that I mentioned here. I just kind of jump in and go for the ride, and then take my profits along the way and try to let the rest run. And if I might even add to it in some of these areas in here, if I'm looking for that continuation. Like right now, yeah, like, why not add to it here? Look for another one at 305 or 3905, or maybe 3900 here. Now, it's not going to be as easy as that. It never is. So we need to kind of manage the trade. We need to kind of understand, you know, how to manage it. And again, this is not a trade recommendation room. Right? We're just covering different ways to consider it here. Like right now, well, okay, so it came back up, it tested into 10, and now it's selling off. All right, if you didn't like that and you saw this transaction up here and you got involved in here, this top end here, maybe you would take your profit in here. It's just a quick scalp within this range. Or, you know, maybe we get down below here, you see a big red dot, and you're like, okay, I'm going to sit back. I'm looking for this to break down into 3,900. All right, so anyway, we've talked about all of these things in the past, like different ways of getting involved in here. So yeah, you know, I would still be in it basically, and may have even added in here, and may have even taken some off at the bottom of this little range from this position in here. Okay, because see how it has the possibility here for these buyers to come in and then sweep it back up into these areas here, and the next area, you know, I don't know, probably up in here where these transactions took place and it dropped. We also look at these little swings in here, and you know, this is just smaller structural areas where you can kind of anticipate a price to come to and test. Just test. It might not accept, but test that area here. Right now, look again at another thing that's really interesting here. Right, we've seen that this buying cluster here and pretty strong buying right now. So yeah, I'm looking for them to test back up here. Right, maybe at this point, my one position that's on already, maybe I dump it, and maybe I even scalp it back up into this area here or even higher. We can talk about another strategy in here. What about the mean reversion trade? It's right around that time. We've dropped a ton here, and we see the buyers coming in, and we have our VWAP and we have our point of control up here, and we have a lot of people that have sold in here. All right, so that could be another way of looking for your counter trend trade up into these areas. Okay, I mean, look at the the thin auction in here. You know, on the way down here, there's not a whole lot of contracts that traded. Okay, can fill in this area in here, and just the market likes to kind of test back and forth in these areas. All right, so anyway, let's we'll see if it auctions up in there or not. Okay, we're just going to read the order flow. Okay, nothing shaken so far. Sellers come back in. And bouncing off of this, this is our structural area right here that we're looking at. One structure, another one. So far, this structure is, we do see some buying in here, but it's not so bullish, to be honest. This one has a little more volatility to it. This is pretty shallow in here. You can just look at the width of the boxes there. All right, so then, you know, looking at the order flow, if we get some sellers down at the bottom edge here, we have a lower high, looking for sellers here, and then a break, and then continuation of that bigger trend. 09, bottom of the range, 06, down to the figure 3,900. Okay, and that's another scenario in here to take a look at here. I don't see it. I'm not getting much from it right now. I don't see those sellers here. And in fact, we see a little bit of buying right now up here. Okay, now, did those buyers make a higher high? No. Do we see sellers back down here again? Great. All right, they should be able to drop it then, 09 to 06. And let's see if they show up. They did here a little bit. Here they come again, and let's see them. There's 09. Okay, looking for bottom of the range here. It could bounce here. Could bounce right here. We have another little structural area, and this is the point of control or most traded level here, so that could be your target as well. Instead of 09, look for your kind of 07 and a half ish area here. 09 is not bad. All right, now let's see. Now, do the sellers want to push this through now? Bottom of the range, 06, and then continuation. It bounced off of 08 here, as you guys can see. Okay, traded into this liquidity here. So anyway, you guys, we're looking at these levels in here. In the price structure, and then we're looking for the order flow around those levels to give us some insight. So on the way down, we knew that this was the big move. All right, so we're looking for jumping in and riding the train here on down to some of these levels. 10 was one, and then the figure here was the other. All right, saw some chop in here. Talked about maybe scalping the range in here, and then talked about maybe even ejecting out of that other position here, and then we talked about a potential here for that mean reversion here, and then we started to read the order flow in here, and we didn't really like it. We knew that this is not a really strong move based just on the range. And then we started to note, wow, okay, so we're not seeing buyers. We're making lower lows in here or in lower highs in here. We're not really seeing the buyers. At this point, we really didn't see the sellers either. Then we started to see them here. And that's when we're looking for the drop. Okay, we're looking for them, and we stayed away until we started to see them. Then we saw them. We're looking for it to drop. And we start to set our targets based on market structure again. Right, so we're looking for a continuation. We've already tested below. We hit the 06 bottom of the range, and it went through it. So we're looking for continuation again down to 3,900 here. Okay, and then we also know typically S&P. There's a lot of traders. We hit 3,900, and then we look to get everyone on the hook down here. go below it, maybe 38.95. Everyone thinks, oh my God, this is dropping like a rock. And then you'll see those mean reversion traders come in, or at least back up into maybe the mean or high volume node up here. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about, again, like market structure, and then looking at the order flow within the structure to give us some insight here. Good morning, everybody. Let's see, Carolina, can you explain how you identify sellers? Well, red dots are market sell orders. Green dots are market buy orders. Now, when I'm talking about sellers and buyers in here, I'm talking about the aggressor. Okay, they're the ones that move the market. There's the other side of the trade, and I talk about them as passive orders. Okay, they're not the aggressors. Those are limit buy orders and limit sell orders. Here, down here, there's a lot of limit buy orders. You can see it in the heat map here. You can see it in the COB column that stands for current order book. This is showing you liquidity. Okay, so there's a lot of buyers down here at the figure at 3,900. Okay, the sellers, well, majority of them they're up here, way up here at 39 or so. And you can see them in the heat map in other areas here. The scale of the heat maps here at the top center, red and orange, very high liquidity, then yellow, then white, then blue, and then black. This is the auction. Okay, this is the other side of the auction, the passive orders. They are such an important part of the market. Without them, it's just there is no auction. And this is what just I find so funny is getting in arguments with other traders about, like, oh, this is all BS, the liquidity in here. It's just simply not. This is what makes up the market. It is orders that make up the market, and it is the understanding of the intent of these traders at these areas that gives you insight. Yes, they can spoof, they can pull their liquidity at it in other levels, pull it away as soon as it comes up to it, and say, like, haha, I don't want to trade, right? Yes. However, we can see when they do trade. We can also start to understand the relationship between these three elements on the chart. Only three elements here. Right now, I'll go over this. I dimmed my I don't know if you guys like this. I'm just kind of testing it out to see if I like it. It's a really nice feature with the stops and icebergs to have it transparent. But in fact, let me just take them off for just a moment here and just go over these three elements here on the chart, because it's just not for the newer traders. I mean, like, the guys in Discord are probably just rolling their eyes. It's really important, and we're going to go through the order flow analysis anyway. So, like, look what happened up here at 10. Okay, we didn't know that there was a lot of interest up here at 10 to sell. As price came up, they started to jump in. This is showing pretty good intent to trade. Right now price didn't even hit them though. Now these guys here at 39.09 3/4, they actually started to pull some of it, but they stayed here at 10 or 10 1/4. It looks like, yeah, 10 1/4. So you can start to read the auction in here. These guys on the bid down here, there's high liquidity in here, and they transacted. So these guys here that wanted to be buyers, they're long. Okay, so now we're really truly kind of reading the auction. So here we had some insight, right, that this kind of started to repel. No, at first they started to go for it here. They came in and then showed this high liquidity in here, and now we're selling off. They come in again at a lower level and we sell off. So higher supply at a lower level here, and the reaction is we find sellers. Okay, now it's becoming a little more convoluted. We found buyers now, and we're finding buyers again. So we're reading this in here. and starting to understand it. Okay, now will they go for 39.10? Is there enough buying pressure in here after these two big transactions to come up and test into 39.10? Not yet. In fact, we found some sellers. So looking for sellers to drive it to the other side of the range here. Let's see if they can do that to 05 and 04 and hit this liquidity down here. Okay, we got down to 06 and we're just kind of still in this range. See how they pulled in here again? So there's some softness up here. There's some buyers up here still. So let's see if we see higher demand at a higher level in the order book here. A skew in the auction. Maybe they pull it here and add it higher. And they're going to trade, they're going to trade 10. In fact, we just got some insight here. Okay, very quick transaction right there. High liquidity. And it transacted. There's buying pressure, so I'm looking for 10. I'm looking for 10, and we can even maybe break 10 here and trade back up into 13, the top of our previous range up here. Okay, so let's see these buyers. Let's see them trade into 10. There they are. And now I want to see them trade up to 13. Okay, this is a new range now. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. Okay, now see the new range in here? Here was a consolidation and back and forth. And here's a new one now. And it took buying pressure, pretty big buying pressure, to be able to do that. I would be taking my profit at the top of this range. Okay, or at least partial. So now look at let's zoom out. This is a pretty strong move. Remember how we talked about on the way down? Strong move, moving it away from the area. Well, here's strong move, moving it back to the top of the area. Now we're looking for, see if we can get even more buyers in here and then move back up into 39.20. Okay, maybe the VWAP. The VWAP is very aligned, very nicely aligned here with the structure up here. And there's one move lower here. I mean, and that's this 39.20 area. But VWAP is aligned with the majority of the structure. So there you go. We know there's a lot of traders looking at VWAP, and you could still be bearish here for the day, even if we trade back up into here. If you find a kind of a lack of buying and you start to rotate back down, we're trading in a new range down here, created by all of this selling that we witnessed when they came in. Okay, now you can see what I'm talking about in here, like the fractal nature of these markets. Bigger picture for just today only, bigger picture was trading range up here, higher time frame traders moving it away, and a new range down here. And then we've been talking about all these other smaller ranges within this area in here. Jean Herrera, I think that answers your question in there. Okay, and let me see if there's more questions in YouTube. I think that pretty nicely covers it though. You know, and in here you can see this is why I like to take my profits in some of these areas, top of these ranges. Okay, we're right back down now. Okay, and I likely would have been stopped out on my other position down here. Right, and yeah, does that bug me? Yeah. But that's just a part of the trading here. Now there's another way to manage this in here. Okay, so let's just cover this here, because you know, we're getting questions, and we always have gotten questions about this. Is about how would you manage your trade, and you know, let's go over like a real scenario in here. All right, so there's different considerations here. We were talking about like reading the pressure in here, and we saw this transaction, we saw these buyers up here, and it's like, well, wait a minute, you know, they want this 10. Okay, and then we're looking for this 13.5. So we're looking for buying pressure to move up into those areas, and then taking some profit up here. So we probably would have gotten in somewhere in here, and look how bad of a position that is to get in, right? I mean, you're at the top of the range. Like, this is not what the books show, but we're reading the order flow and we can read the pressure in here. Okay, and just we have this recorded. Go back and rewatch for the reasons that we're looking for this, and you know, we saw it in real time there. So here, let's suppose we got involved in here. Okay, so around 08 3/4, and we took profit up here at partial profit up here. Was it top of the range, or I probably would have gotten out here at this liquidity. So let's say this is it here. Okay, so at 13.5. Right, so there's my profit on my first leg. Okay, and let's edit this now. Okay, so profit there. Now this is where I got in. I can have my stop here, and then I'll just move it up just a couple ticks or so. I could have my stop down here on my second position, and I would still be making a tiny profit, you know, basically a break even. So there's two different ways to manage this and consider it. Right, one is you took your profit on one. Okay, another one is just take your full profit up here. Okay, at 13.5. Another one is you're just still in it in the bigger position, and your stop is down in here somewhere, and you haven't taken any profit. Okay, but let's go over these two, the most important two, I think. Number one is you took partial profit up here, and now you have a runner. The runner, how do you want to manage that now? I like to move mine to break even, the initial position break even, and I would have been stopped out on that second position and made no profit. So I would have had partial profit on my first leg, and that's it. The second one, you know, is to you took partial profit up here, and then now you have this much of leeway in here, and you're losing on the other position here, but the overall break even would be here. Okay, so then you almost got stopped out, and you almost made nothing on this. Okay, you would have made a couple ticks just to cover your commissions, etc., and then that would be that. Right, and there you are, you're stopped out. Right, so you made nothing on it, but you gave it a shot to run. Right, now we're missing the order flow analysis in here because we're covering trade management, which is fine. There's another way, and this is I use Alan as the whipping boy for I don't know how many years now. Alan is to look for that high probability trade. Okay, something where you know, looks like the order flow is just telling us, we're looking at it and we're reading it, and we have a lot of factors that tell us it's going to break out, and then take all of your profit at your area, and then that's it, you're done. And then look for the next one, and then that is actually, you know, although you might kick yourself, this builds confidence, and we want to build confidence in our trading. So this is a real help to just take your profit up here, look for the next one. Now you've got a clear mind, you look for the next one. All right, in this case you would have been fine, but what if you took your profit there, you got your 4 points, your 4 S&P points or something, or you know, 4 or 5 points in here, and then it came back up into, you know, 22 or even higher, or even, you know, back up into this 39 or 40 area up here, right? You'd be like, oh God, why did I do that? You can't do that in trade. If this is building your confidence at just hitting singles, this is what you're doing. and then move forward, look for the next one. In fact, if you did that and you saw more of like a kind of a bull flag pattern here, whatever the order flow looked like up here, you'd look for the next one and take it higher. All right. Makes sense? Does that make sense, Jana? Do you understand kind of what we're looking at here, and understanding some of the basics in the order flow, kind of market structure, and then volume within that market structure? Penty, no. Icebergs do not work with DX feed. It's only rhythmic data. Jana, how likely is it price will go down to fill the waiting buy limit orders down at 3,900? So there, we don't know. We look at the order flow to give us some insight. At this point here, no. Okay, at this point here, yeah, not bad. See how they're kind of breaking it here? We couldn't have higher highs in here. We're looking for these sellers to take it lower, and now all they need to do, they already went up here and tested up here. We're just looking for sellers now to follow through, and it's looking really good right now. There's some selling down here, looking for them to just sweep the order book down into 3,900. Okay, here they come. Let's see it, sellers, and let's see it. No, not yet. Okay, but watch it here. Not yet. Get those last buyers on the hook. There's some sellers. And come on, sellers. There we go. And let's see the sweep here. Well, buyers keep on fighting it here. We're looking for a quick order book sweep in here. And we're not getting that yet. They're fighting it here. Still, buyers are fighting it in here. This is good, though. This is just going to be more fuel for the sell side here. Once we get down here, these buyers are they're gonna feel the pressure so quickly. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if no, one more move. This is kind of a nasty move in there. Okay, see the order book, quick order book sweep here, high liquidity in here. Okay, now again, sellers here though. Sellers right here is what we're looking for. Okay, 03. All right, sellers, let's look for the move now. Not yet. Jeez. Still buyers still just fighting it here. All right, now we've seen this, so many times. We're still waiting, watching, and looking for those sellers here to hit that. Okay, but we're finding quite a bit of buying in here right now. So it's not ready. It's not ready yet. Now look at the buying coming in. So it's the opposite. Okay, let's see. We're back to. Let's just zoom out. Okay, they came up the top of this little structural range here. Okay, quite a bit of buying. Do we get more buying up here? Then we're looking for 12. Okay, one more test. All right, now here, let's see if we get sellers back down to 06, where these buyers came in. And if they can get back into this range in here at 04, then we're looking for a nice move down, not only to 3,900, but through it, I think. Okay, again, it's contextual here, and that's an answer that I know is very maybe confounding to traders. They're just like, well, what's the chance of getting down to 3,900? Well, it depends. You know, we want to know. It's like in a baseball game or something. What's the chance of, like, you know, someone, I don't know, hitting like uh, you know, some event happening? Well, it's going to depend on a lot of factors. What if a big wind like sweeps up in the baseball field? Like, is it going to hit a home run? Well, if it's helping the ball carry it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I'm kind of curious about this move in here, because this is quite a bit of buy volume. I'm still looking for it to fail and come back down. They're just kind of pressing higher, pressing higher. I'm looking for here, though. This is where I want to see the fail. Okay, around this 06. And it's going to be a quick move too. They're going to probably just drive it. Sellers are going to drive it right through here on a ton of sell volume. Okay, so it's not like it's not going to give you really much of a chance to trade it down to the figure. You kind of got it. It's kind of a leap of faith. We're looking for something in the order flow though to give us more insight here. Like Scott was showing something yesterday. That where it cut right through a high volume node area, it's very, very typical. I'm looking for that to happen here as well. And you can see it's still, we didn't get enough sellers down here. Still, we didn't see anyone come in the auction and lower liquidity though here in the order book. And we're not really getting much out of the order book right now. All right, anyway, one point I wanted to cover in here is a lot of times if there's just relentless buying in here, and this might be it, that's when we're going to get our move back to VWAP and maybe higher. So we want to be aware of that one, because like we've seen it many times where it's just like, wow, they're just not going to give this up. They keep buying, they keep buying, they keep buying, and then it just, it's kind of like marketing. Like you tell your message enough times and then people start to buy into it, and then they go with the flow, and then everyone jumps on board, and then beautiful stop runs and short squeezes, etc., on up into you know, your point of control, your VWAP, other previous structural areas here. So anyway, okay, here's our selling. This is the selling that we're looking for here. Okay, so this is getting really interesting now. And here's our double bottom here. Look what happened down here. No selling, right? This is, we look for this pattern all the time. Look for them to take it back up to the top of the range and maybe even revisit 12 up here. Or they haven't revisited, but at least 10, right? So here's what we're looking at. Sellers, this is what we're looking for. Retest, no selling. Buyers are relentless in here. So yeah, I like it actually. I'm going to look for see if we can get our sellers or our buyers back up here at 10 and see if we can get back up into 12. So you can see like it came back to the top of the range here. And did we get our buyers up here? No. So we're back to here and looking for our sellers yet again, right? We don't have, you know, this was really good for the move back up to the top of the range. I thought at this point we'd get enough buyers up here. We just didn't. We look at it right here. Now we're getting our sellers down here. Okay, so second leg here. Do we get sellers? Yes. Looking for the move. Okay, they broke it. We got our sellers looking for the move, 3,900 and then some. Okay, see how tricky that was? Now watch this. We should see beautiful move here. There's 3,900. Still looking for more. There's going to be a lot of people on the hook in here. Now, you know, again, not trade recommendations in here. It's not financial advice. We're reading the order flow and applying what we have learned from the educational course. But let's go through the opposite scenario in here. Now, you know, if you're trading it back down here, yeah, you know, one of the scenarios is take some profit off, and you can always get back in. You can take full profit here. You could be done for the day. You can take one leg off and you're looking for continuation. The opposite scenario here. Right, well, let's just be realistic about it here. Here is where we're looking for that breakdown, right? This move looks pretty good in here. But this move below the swing, the true move below the swing, doesn't look so good. And that's a big distinction between that and this one over here. Okay, so the opposite scenario is like just down to here, get people, you know, going short in here, and then we're looking to see maybe we get buyers back up above, but where? Here, right here. Okay, if we can get our buyers back up above here. So now if you see buyers starting to come in, you can trade it back up into those areas too. Or maybe, you know, this would be your pullback and you're looking for the continuation after that. There's many ways to slice it and dice it here. Okay, so we're going through many different scenarios and then looking for one of those scenarios to play out and then looking for the continuation. All right, Sebastian, lots of comments in here. Hold on a minute. Okay, Jana, I'm just trying to answer your question in here. Hope that did the trick. Okay, about the big picture question here. What is it, you know, how likely to trade 39,000? Well, we went through this whole different scenario and back and forth in here. Finally, we got it. Okay, and we're looking for those sellers at these areas many times over, and finally we got it. Did you find that helpful, Jana? Are you still in here? Okay, I think it helps everybody here, guys. Okay, now we're getting our nice move below. God, I mean, like, anyway, you look at the sellers coming in like this. Okay, again, this is continuation, and this is clearly continuation here. So looking for 90 now, 38.90. Okay, these are really easy moves to catch, I think. This in here was in question because of up here it looks good, but it didn't break the structure until down here. Now here's our move. This move here is really, it's not as much volume. We're already at 39.9 or 38.90, and we'll look for this to start to wane in here, and then maybe some pullback. But this is very strong, consistent selling in here. That is what we were talking about before. Okay, so here, strong, consistent selling, moving it away. That is no different than this one up here. Okay, we were just on board early on that one. Here we kind of missed it a little bit. As I was answering some questions and going through some things. We were looking for it in here. We didn't get it. It pulled back and went back and forth in here. It only broke down a couple of points. Then we got it. And then we saw the selling starting to come in. Okay, I'm kind of upset I wasn't there at the moment. We were in around in here or something, and that's a pretty easy read. It's going to hit 38.90, or more likely. Lots of liquidity, guys, on the way down here too. So we'll take a look at this. I mean, they're getting filled in here. That's pretty high liquidity in here. Takisho, yeah, like looking for another stop runs and stuff beforehand, or getting people going the wrong way. Testing and testing and testing, seeing if that there's more stops to kind of get up here. This is what we kind of witnessed in here. Right now, what kind of had me going a little bit in here was like I had mentioned, sometimes we see this. It's just there's so much buying that comes in that we're finally looking for, the move and the move back up into some of these areas here. Mean reversion type of trades, and we're looking in here. We're thinking, yeah, I think maybe they've got it now at this point. Then we saw the selling down here, and that's when we're looking for the break. Juan, Bookmap and Toss is great. You don't have the icebergs though. You won't be able to. You need rhythmic data, and Toss does not use rhythmic data. These are more directional moves, Sebastian. It's not. I mean, there will be stops in here as well, but this is not like a stop run, kind of come back up, hit the other side of the range, stop run, hit the other side of the range, stop run, etc. It's different. And this is moving the market away from these areas here. These are directional moves. Okay, big, strong directional moves. 3,900 down to, this is a 10-point move. Okay, Jana. Okay, thanks for the reply there. Yeah, trying to answer. It was a great question. I think it'd be helpful for a lot of people. Guys, if you like that, please hit the thumbs up button here, the like button in YouTube. It makes the big difference here for us. Yeah, it really helps us. And we'll do it again and again and again. Okay, lots of comments in there, Sebastian. Yeah, well, lots of liquidity being filled down in these lower areas in here. We'll see if, I mean, we're still getting our continuation here. Lots of selling, right? And they're just driving it. I want to take a step back here, guys. I want to look at the candlestick chart. This is really strong move, really strong selling here. And we're looking for a continuation, basically 38.75. Lower areas of liquidity, maybe 38.50 down here. We want to be, it's never like, well, not always, but typically it's never that easy, especially during these volatile times right now. That's actually a good thing to cover here, because during these volatile times, this is very, very typical. Let's look at a 15-minute candlestick chart here. Look at even the daily over here. Big swings, and then big reversals, and then a big swing again down, and then a couple of days to the downside. So, Scott, for example, covered this the other day, just yesterday, about, well, I have to use a 100-point stop on some of these. It was the NASDAQ, not the S&P. But still, I mean, these are just huge stops. Well, that's his way of trading. And he's looking for something very, very specific. And then he's looking at how to properly manage it. He's looking at a higher time frame, and he's looking at the volatility. Well, it's not higher time frame necessarily, but it's the volatility. That's what is dictating how he manages the trade, because of these market swings. It's not based on anything more than that. It's just that's what the market is giving us. That's one way of handling it, and that's Scott's way, because he's trading longer term. There's other ways to do it. You can trade shorter term, and you're not looking for the bigger move. You're looking for the range. Okay? And you are anticipating a swing, a pullback at a certain point. And in volatile times, they are relentless. I recall when I first started trading, just before I started trading, just before the financial meltdown in 2008. So and I just had my jaw on the floor watching it was the Dow. I was trading the Dow Mini at that time. Swing 1,000 points, and then 1,800 points back or something. It's just like, whoa, hold on a minute here. Like, how can it, who's buying this? But this is how the market works. Like, the pullbacks are very, very strong, as you guys can see in the price action in here. Use that to your advantage. So Scott's trading higher time frames, so he needs to lessen his size, widen his stops. That's one way of looking at it. Or you could read the order flow, look for taking your profit quickly and looking for the next one. That's another way of doing it. And you don't have to bring down your size and your stops. But note that you're likely going to get stopped out a lot more often as well, because the swings are erratic. Okay, but you're looking for that continuation though. Again, it's not financial advice. It's just different considerations in here it's not a recommendation. It's just how to try to put a plan together for yourself in these considerations. Right? It's just how the market is. So I need to kind of these charts aren't very helpful here. I need to take a look at the weekly here on the S&P. So here's the weekly here. This is COVID over here, right? And you can see how volatile times are right now. Here, this is COVID, which was even, I think we had a higher VIX rating during this than we did during the 2008 financial crisis. So look at this move here. These are huge moves. This is a weekly chart. Now on the weekly chart, this is what at least I'm showing here from investing.com. We just went down and tested, this week here, we tested the low from the previous week and starting to get a little bit of a bounce here. And it's a pretty big darn red candle though, with a lot of momentum. Look how it tested all the way back up here to previous week. And here's our answer. Well, it rejected up here and is trading back down in the middle here. Or I'm sorry, it traded back down in the middle. Now it's down at the bottom end. So there's still a lot of weakness in here. That's what this is telling us here. So where is it going to go? Well, we don't have a heat map here for the weekly chart. We can look at price structure though, and start to understand where these wicks are and where there was like kind of swings and buying pressure. One is down here. Okay, good one. Here's a lot of buying pressure. Look at that just huge green candle. Here's the pullback followed by more green. Right, here's where it broke out from. We've already traded through that area here. This is what, 39.50. So the next area is here, and we're basically there already. So maybe where's it going to go next? If we see more selling pressure on this weekly chart, well, there's going to be a high volume node in here, most likely, and then we also see this candle here. So I don't know. I mean, looking somewhere around in here, maybe around 37.60, 37.30 is the swing. Okay, just keep these in mind in here. And this process of looking at some of these higher time frame levels is no different than what we're doing on the smaller time frame. Okay, we're just looking at a lot more detail in the order flow. Okay, right in here, we're really kind of just outlining areas and kind of flying blind here. But we can look at Bookmap and the order flow and then really understand some of the details. Oh, okay. Do we, Jean-Herrera, do we do the macro levels in the course? Not so much, but it's, these markets are fractal, as you guys know. That we just covered that fractal nature in the weekly chart, so you can use the same process we use the same process in the course, talking about the higher time frame. So like today, big structure up here, another one here, and we knew that they're driving it away here. Okay, so then in here we saw this small breakdown. We were looking for 3900, small breakdown. Being careful in here, careful. It's only a small breakdown, and then here's where it really picks up below. And then they're just, I mean, this is a huge move. They're driving it away here, and like I said, I was kind of upset to miss that when we covered, but we covered it earlier when we saw it here. Same thing. It's just here, and then also here. All right. So now we are trading into, and we talked about it here. We talked about 39.75. Okay, we're there. Okay, now, boy, a lot of liquidity, guys, getting filled on the way down here. This is incredible. Look at this, large liquidity in here, and look at some of these players in here. 218, 189. These are larger players in here, and they're like at every point here. See how they're at every point on the way down? 76, 75, 74, 73, etc. Okay, look for, now we're gonna watch this closely, because like if they're getting filled down here, and they're nicely getting filled down here, Okay, we're going to have a really nice reaction to all of this. It might not be today. It might be next week. Okay, look at this double bottom, looking for the buyers, looking for them to take it back up to here, 77, maybe back up to here, 80. Okay, quick move there. Remember we talked about this, selling in here, retest, no selling. Buyers starting to come in, top of the range, back to 77 up in here. Okay, just a little bit shy of it. Okay, now that's a counter trend trade, but we saw that it traded down here, retested, and there's no selling. Look at the buyers come in and do this move back up into here and squeeze it like that. Okay, now it's very short-lived. Sellers come right back in, and we continue to fill all of these areas of lower liquidity at every point. Guys, this is really interesting order flow here. I mean, every point here, larger players are getting filled down here. Okay, we're going to watch this here because this is, and we're going to turn on our icebergs because we saw this, I think, on Tuesday. We're looking for a big reaction to this. We don't know when, okay, but we're looking for buyers to start to come in. But let's also turn on our icebergs in here. Stops and icebergs on chart. Okay, if we're seeing huge icebergs getting filled on the way down here as well, this is going to be a really nice move, counter trend move here. Okay, now it may take a couple days. This might be just a bigger move in here, but you got to figure, and we went through this. Let's see. I'll show you the webinar. Okay, the webinar was here. Large icebergs filled by liquidity leads to upside move. Okay, this one. So it's the same thing we're going to be looking for right now. Same thing, right? Do we see all these huge icebergs on the way down? Yeah, 800, 400, 500, or almost 600 here. Okay, there's some on the other side, but we're looking for them. They're big. I've got a kind of odd setting on the icebergs right now. It's showing, boy, it's not going to show much until they're just massive icebergs right now. I'll go over the setting in just a minute. Okay, but we're still seeing some pretty big icebergs on the way down. A note in here, this kind of activity, usually it's every other tick, not every point. These striations though in liquidity on the way down as they're getting filled, I see this. God, I haven't looked at like euro dollar in a long time, but I've typically seen this kind of activity in the euro dollar or some of the currency futures. Oh wow, okay. Doug, I missed this. You said probability of touching 3900. 3900 is 85% according to the options market. All right, so the question, I think, Jana, if reach out to Doug, go into the Doug P in our Discord there. He's got actual percentages and numbers in there, and according to his options studies and his testing in there. So that's amazing, Doug. So that's fantastic. So there you go. Like, you know, now Doug has an outlook on the market, and he's done his back testing. So now he can lean on that, and he's got a plan, and you just look at some trade management of how to articulate that plan. And protect yourself and look for your risk reward, and there you go. Okay, and then yeah, Doug's also looking at Thinkorswim and a lot of options statistics in there as well. Yeah, Bert, that is really odd that you don't see that the VIX is spiking right now. That just makes me feel thanks for that. That makes me feel that this here is like we're on to something here. That they're not in the VIX because they're not hedging. They're just getting filled in here on the way down. This is amazing. Like I said, I have not seen this kind of activity in here. I don't think ever in the S&P. And we continue to trade down lower. Right here, 38,500. But they're getting filled all the way down. So like I said, the currency futures, let's just add the euro dollar in here. But this is where I've seen it before, but not as distinct as this. But like every other tick, they'll provide liquidity, and it's just larger players. I wanted to pose the question: why do you guys think that is? Why do you see that in what do you guys think? Like why would you see that in the currency futures? Boy, I don't even, it's been so long I don't even have it listed in here. Yeah, see how these striations is here. It's like it's more than it's like every other few ticks in here, but this is very, very typical. This is really odd in here. 11 o'clock. Someone's one player, or maybe they're kind of reading off of each other as well. But must have been some news or something. I don't know, some sort of. I mean, look at those just huge blocks of liquidity in here in this euro dollar. Anyway, let's go back to our S&P. Okay, and then where are we going to start to look for? Like, when is this finally going to kind of maybe turn around and move back? Well, we got to look at the order flow. All right, well, let's mark up some structure in here. Now, I don't think there's really much of a need about distribution or accumulation down here. And why do you guys think that? I'm not looking for a lot of accumulation down in these areas here. I'm looking for more of a V bottom type of move. So, and it's due to the order flow. Why would that be? Maybe just what do you guys think? Like more likely scenario, or a possible scenario, and more likely than not. Posing these questions make you guys think a little bit. Need heavy buyers? No. No. Let me jump over to YouTube and see what guys are saying, and ladies. Oh, I have full depth here. Sebastian. Oh, that was a while back. Geez, sorry guys. Trying to get to your questions here. Yeah, if you guys like what we're doing in here, it seems like it, reading these questions. So thank you. Hit the like button, like I mentioned. It really helps us. Captain Price, you're all over this. Yeah, it is weird stuff in here, but um, here's kind of what I'm thinking. Um, Forex TradeX, the real-time futures data, stocks and futures. Well, you can DX feed offers stocks data, okay, and no one else at the moment. So that's your only choice for Bookmap. That might change though soon, so be on the lookout for that. And then for futures, there are many data providers. We connect to many. Just go to bookmap.com and connections, and you'll see. I don't, Nicor, I don't think we're going to be. We do connect to TradeStation, but no TradeStation data. Reason for the V reversal is there's no sell orders up above. Not that's I'm kind of thinking this, Tom L, that they're getting filled all the way down here. I mean, the accumulation's already happening here, so there's no need to accumulate any longer. We can see it. We already know they're accumulating all the way down. So, and we continue, they continue to stay in the order book, and they're still getting filled in here, and we're still seeing icebergs in here. All right, so we're looking for a nice reaction to that, a really nice reaction at a certain point here. I have the Global Plus license. James, yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of check in and out of some of these questions in here. So, yeah, I need a moderator to help out. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. So, anyways, because we know, look at here, 1200, 900, 500, looking for some big ones down here too. I don't see any yet. Once there's enough filled in here and we start to see the selling dry up, look out. And how do we look at the icebergs now? Look at this. Okay, now this is we're not seeing big ones here. We're just seeing accumulation here with smaller ones. I filtered out the on chart here, but look at this, is undeniable. It's huge right now. Okay, here at 3860. Right now, you know, we got 3850 down here. Now let's look at the structure, and let's also start to line up where we think this may go. All right, we're going to look at the order flow to start to determine that, or where these orders got filled to start to determine that. Okay, so where did this behavior come in here? Well, all the way down from below 39,000 here. So we can look at the figure here at 39,000, but we can also look here. There's a lot in here, and it really all the way down here. Look at this. It's just pretty dark orange all the way down. We have icebergs here also really picking up in this area in here. A big spike here in icebergs. So here we have how many? Negative 100, and now we're up to 1400. So 1500 in the last I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Here's 1481 plus these other, you know, few hundreds in here, right? So a lot. There it is. There's our big iceberg right there. So we're all set up here. Now we're just looking to see when we might have less buyers or less sellers, and we start to and we're looking for a V bottom because they're already accumulated. So we're looking for something like this. A potential move here would be like maybe like up to here, maybe back to here, and then up to here, something like that. And we're looking for, this is where we start to note this behavior in here. It's right around in here. So look for this to be a really nice target in here. Okay, just based on the behavior of these orders getting filled on the way down. And that's what we're looking for. Maybe it's a little bit lower, but boy, once they get in, and they'll just be kind of like at break even, or you know, in the green up into here. And that's when we're looking for the much bigger move, like we did the other day on Tuesday, to much higher levels. Like, you know, we're talking about back up into you know, up in here somewhere, potentially maybe 4,000. What's below 3850? 3800, 3812 or 15, somewhere around in there. Yeah, 3850 is a big one. All right, guys, so these are just some, again, some thoughts here. By reading the order flow and understanding the positions here in the order flow, we can start to look for a potential move like this. Just keep it in mind and look for the order flow. So we don't know, but this is a likely, if it plays out that way, this is a likely kind of structure that we would get. Instead of some sort of like you know, beautiful like a rounding bottom structure, which would be more like this. It would be more like, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this, you know, and then finally you know, it would in fact, let me just take this further. And then finally it would make a lower high and a higher low and a higher high here, and then it would do this, right? So because the accumulation would happen down here, right? So instead I'm looking for this one as being more likely, right? So let's you know, keep an eye out for it. It is just the European close coming right now, so look for the potential you know, move back up into some of these areas here. Okay, we got icebergs, and we have this really kind of just, yeah, I mean just beautiful, all the way down here getting filled, all the way down. Wow. And here they come already. So look for this buying. They're already coming in. And in fact, this could have been the pullback here, likely another one, but we don't know. You know, they just might come in hand over fist here, and everyone's going to miss it. Everyone's going to get stopped out, and we'd be looking for these moves back up into these areas here. Okay, nice one up into here. 38.75 would be another one. But you know, this is where that move really kind of started, or that behavior in the order book kind of started. Okay, maybe even higher, just below 39,000. I did want to cover this in here, the way I've got the icebergs. Let me show you this, the way I've got it set up here. okay, and the stops. I'm using the automatic threshold here. I boosted it up quite a bit here by using the 60 minutes, but then the multiplier here up to 8. So it's telling me here, don't show an iceberg unless the threshold is at or above 795, which is huge. It's huge setting. But then down here, or here, I've got the show the filtered icons though, and then filter the icon transparency to 50%. So I can still see the other ones in here, right? But they're here's 10, for example. All right, so it just doesn't just kind of muck up my screen too much. Here's 544. Here's 166. So they didn't quite make the filter here, but they're on there. It's just they're kind of transparent. Same with the stops. It's don't show me stops unless it's let's see, what did it say here? 158, and which is pretty good stop run in there. All right, guys. So we're just here at 11:30 European close, and yeah, covered a lot in here on this some of these moves in here, and then we start to cover what we're looking for here on this move back up, a potential move for back on up in here, and look at the volume already starting to come in. All right, now is this it? Well, I don't know, but let's just look at this. Looking for that kind of behavior in that structure of move, pull back, and then move, and not much of a pullback. Okay, it's going to be kind of slight one, and then a continuation on up into these areas here. All right, so keep an eye out for it, and you can start to position yourself for it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hope that makes sense. And if that does, please hit the like button there. Give us a thumbs up. Helps us. And we got Tom B. He's lined up next. So we'll filter right over into that. Stick with this stream right here. You just stay right here. I think it goes right into his stream. So you guys can just continue on, and Tom is going to go through his expertise in volume profile. All right. Okay. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we will catch up with you next week. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye.